Hi there, welcome to today's video. I am Natasha of Natasha Miller Creates, and today I'm going to be working in my health and wellness journal. The last layout I created in my journal was my tea time journal, or my tea time layout, which I really love, and I had a lot of fun putting this together and being able to look back and use it. But today I'm going to be doing my 8 stress relief ideas that I use for me personally. I wanted these ideas to be something you can do at your desk without moving around too much. So, for example, not yoga necessarily, but just things that you can practice sitting in your chair, but including like taking a walk, and bonus if the walk is to go get some calming tea. So, one of my other stress relief ideas is to be creative. And so this layout, I'm going to be doing stamping. If you aren't interested in the stamping, I have linked the chapters down. You can just skip over to the next section. And I'm going to be using some layering stamps. So the brand I'm using is Altenew, and as you can see, there are flowers that layer over top of each other, and then they end up looking like this, which is a really cool effect. So I'm excited to give this a try. I'm going to be using a stamping platform which makes the layering just a little bit easier, but you can use this in your notebook. The inks I'm using today are Distress Oxide. For the lighter green, I'm using Bundled Sage, the darker green, Peeled Paint. The lighter pink, Worn Lipstick, and then the darker pinky red is Barn Door. And then to help me layer my stamps in the right place, I'm using this light gray Lost Shadow color just to help me line it up so that I can see where the other pieces are going. Since there are so many parts, we're going to look closer at the stamp. You'll see that there's an outline, there's a background, there's some highlighted areas in there. I'm going to be using sticker paper. This is just generic sticker paper, and stamping onto that and cutting it out so that they'll be like stickers. I'm really excited to use this set. I have been practicing a little bit just so that I get a feel for it, but I am really excited for how it's going to turn out, and I'm excited to experiment and play with this stem set. I think I want more because it was a lot of fun, and I hope you're going to see the fun in putting these stamps together. So I'm going to be using my Tonic Studios Tim Holtz stamping platform. I know this is a controversial topic, but it's the one I have. It's the one I'm going to use. I'm not going to buy a new one because it's expensive. So I grab my sticker paper and putting my magnets down to hold it in place. Yes, those are magnets. The reason why they are taped together is because they're really strong magnets and then they stick together and you struggle to get them undone. This way you're able to kind of grab them to pull them apart. So there are many moving parts to the stem set, as you can see, and it looks a little bit overwhelming, I know, but once you start experimenting and start playing with these stems, they'll make a lot more sense to you. There's also bits and pieces which are really cute to kind of add in. You'll see that later in the video, but we're going to start off with putting our first stamp where we need it to go. This is going to be my gray outline so that I can line up the rest of the pieces. I just do it very lightly. I don't want it to show through the rest of the stamping, so I just keep it very light, and then apply even pressure when I'm pushing down. And I know the camera can't pick it up very well because that's basically what I wanted, but it's there and it's going to help me line up the rest of my work. To clean my stamps, I'm using a baby wipe. It's not my normal favorite cleaning tool, but I was lazy to go and get water, and so I had baby wipes nearby. So that's what I'm using to clean my stamps. Normally I don't clean my stamps, I'm really bad, but I mostly use black and white. Oh, sorry, black ink. So, and not color, and this time I'm using color, so I'm making sure to clean it. So now I'm lining up my first light pink layer and just have to make sure that the paper is still in place. So I'm adding in my worn lipstick as the background and then using the darker red for the accents. and just dabbing that on. You want to make sure that the stamp is completely covered in ink. The nice thing about the platform is it's easier to see. And then again, applying even pressure to the stamp to make sure that all the ink comes off. The other reason why the stamp platform is so great is that you are able to line up your stamp where you want it to go, and then you close the lid, it engages, sticks to the lid, and then you're able to go in and put your ink. So here I am just lining up my stamp to see where I want it to sit, and this is the accent colors. And then you just close the lid, it's going to engage that stamp, and then you can just go and add the color. And that's what makes it so much easier to do layering with a stamp platform. You obviously don't need one, but I also didn't want to stick my head in the frame for the whole video. So I just went and I used my stamping platform so that you could see how the layering stamps work together and my head wasn't permanently in the way. So now we're going to get started on the leaves, and we're going to be using the bundled sage color for the background leaves. Again, I'm just lining it up where I wanted to go and then making sure that I didn't move the paper. And the bundled sage for the background, and we're going to use the peeled paint for the accent piece. Once you get familiar with this stamp set, it becomes easier to tell which part goes where. And yes, it's a lot of effort and it is a bit time consuming, but it's also really, I don't know, I thought it was really cathartic to build out these florals. I do want to say this video isn't sponsored, not by Tim Holtz, not by Altenew. This is all my stuff that I've bought over time. Yes, these are older. I do tend to buy my stuff over time and then maybe sit on them for a little while before using them. But I know there are similar products out there. So if there are any products you see that you can't get hold of, let me know down in the comments below and I'll be happy to find a similar product for you. So that is adding the accent and then just cleaning off that piece. And now I'm going to go in and grab the original outline, and I'm just going to use my VersaFine black ink pad that I'm always using to do the outline for this floral. It took a little while to line it up how I wanted it to, so that's what you see me do there, kind of playing, trying to get it in the right spot, and then just going to go in and add the ink. I would have used the black soot of the distressed oxide, but I really like this ink, and it was nearby. I would have to dig out my my black soot color, so I was just using my VersaFine. And that is how you build out these florals, and that's what they end up looking like. It was really fun to just get lost in the process of building these out. As you can see in the stamp set, there are many different kinds of florals with many different accents and pieces together. And you can go in and add those accents. You'll see I'm going to add those into my layout, so I'll put those, you'll see when I get those going. I have already stamped a lot and cut them out of the sticker paper just for timing's sake. And we're going to use that to put my layout together for my stress relief ideas. Let me know down in the comments below what your stress relief ideas are, like what you do to relieve your stress. I am writing out my title so that I don't spell anything wrong or miss any letters when I'm stamping. And I'm just splitting it in half so that I can balance my title on my page. So I'm using my favorite stamp sets, which are the Amy Tangerine Alphabet Stamp Set and the Studio L2E Simple Letter Stamp Set. I didn't want to overthink it by deciding what stamp set to use, so I just grabbed my tried and true favorites. So I decided I'd use my Amy Tangerine stamp set for relief and then do stress and ideas next to it using the smaller font. Now, as you can see here, I've already have an issue with the ink, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. Number one is time. We're going to give that some time to dry, and then we'll go in with a white paint pen and we're going to color over top of that black ink. If you color over top of the black ink before it has had time to dry, the white ink will pick up the black and it'll just end up being an ugly gray color. So just keep that in mind. The trick is to wait for it to dry. So this is my Poor Studio L2E stamp set. It's coming loose just because it's so dirty from being used. I do need to bath it. And I know that sounds ridiculous that I need to bath my stamp set, but it does work. It does help. It does regain its stickiness. So just some warm water and a little bit of soap, a tiny little bit of dish soap is what I use, and just let it dry, and it dries sticking to the back of the sheet. So yeah, I'll be doing a stamp bath soon, I guess. And it wouldn't be a journal layout setup without my cat making her debut for her 5 seconds of fame. So I know this probably seems tedious to go through and stamp each individual letter like this, but honestly, I find it very cathartic and very meditative almost, and that's why I like to write down the heading so that I don't miss anything if I'm just getting into the routine or the process of stamping out the words. And I'm just popping my stamps into the little envelope so that I don't lose any of the letters since it needs a bath. Of course, I'm adding my borders. This would not be one of my layouts or one of my pages without my borders. I go through so many tombos because of these borders. Yeah, it's expensive. So for the circles, or I'm going to be using circles to add my stress relief ideas in. And I'm just going in and looking to see how I want the layout to look. Normally I do this part off camera, but I thought I'd share with you today my process for balancing the layout. So I'm just going to take a look and move the circles around as I need, just to kind of make it look balanced. I'm going to do the same with the flowers. I decided to keep my process in just so that you could see that as well. And now I'm just going to pencil in how I want my words to look and where I want them to go. So using my Archer and Olive black gel ink pen, I am just doing some calligraphy, and I'm just making every other word calligraphy basically, and then the rest of the words will be block letters. So my very first one I'm working on is taking a time out. So that would be taking 5 minutes to just go and get a tea, to help you just calm down and take that break. This next one is deep belly breathing. So that is obviously where you're breathing from deep inside your belly, closing your eyes, taking a big deep breath, and then letting it out. The timeout one is the only one where we are walking away from the desk, because it's not always practical that you can get up from your desk. So just to keep that in mind. This one is to chew gum. Now, I carry a lot of tension in my jaw, and by chewing gum, it kind of releases that stress in my jaw. So huge for me to do that. This next one, which is so blurry, I apologize, is practicing grounding. So that is where you go to your 5 senses and you think about something you can see, smell, taste, hear, and touch. And that way you're becoming more present in the moment, and you're kind of refocusing or taking your focus away from what's causing your stress and just enjoying or just being present in the moment. This next one is to take action, and that is to pivot to something that you can control. So if you're getting stressed about a situation and you feel like you're losing control, work on another activity where you can control it. And that way you're kind of building your confidence and you're getting into a place where you, again, have control. So you're able to reassess the situation and come at it from a different perspective. The one I just did is practicing self-talk or calming self-talk. So again, just telling yourself it's going to be okay, and stopping the negative self-talk, or the negative thoughts that come in and kind of make things worse. No, instead you're going to turn that around and you're going to do positive self-talk. This next one is muscle relaxation, And when I was playing volleyball in university, this was huge for me. This was fantastic. You're going to start from your toes and work your way up. So you're going to start from your toes, you're going to tense up the muscle, and then you're going to relax it. And you're going to work up through your body until you get to your head, tensing the muscles and then relaxing. And so, what that does is it's focusing on that muscle and it's purposely relaxing that muscle and making you aware of the tension in that muscle and being able to relax it. The last one is practicing visualization. This one takes a lot of practice. Again, when I was playing sport, I did a lot of visualization and I feel like I got really good at it. And it's definitely a habit that I don't practice anymore. And definitely something that I want to work on and bring back into my routine because I know the power of visualization. And I know that sounds very airy fairy to some people, but I really do feel that visualization is a great tool. And this is me trying to hold my cat back from blurring my camera, and it's not working. So I do apologize for that. But now, as you can see, I'm using block letters to finish writing my 8 stress relief ideas, which, if you have pets, you can put pet and animal in there. Mine's causing me a little bit of stress in this moment, but she's cute, so I keep her. So now we're going to get to layering or deciding where to put the flowers. As I said, I kept this process, my process for this in the video so that you could see it's a lot of trial and error. This can sometimes take a while. This can sometimes be quick and easy. It just depends on how quickly you decide that you like a specific layout. Here, I was making sure that I didn't have flowers that were too similar next to each other. Um, the flowers weren't overwhelming the layout and taking away from what I was saying. And this, we're going to go in and we're going to outline the circles. So the flowers will kind of make more sense once we get all the pieces done. But for now, I'm just trying to figure out how I want my flowers to look. And then once I'm happy, these are stickers. So once I'm happy, I'm going to peel off the back of the sticker and stick them down and then start tidying up the last little bits of the layout. So once you're all stuck down, I'm grabbing my circle stencil again and a mono drawing pen. And I am outlining the circles, not drawing over top of the flowers. So it looks like the flower is sitting on top of the border of the circle. And instead of having the line showing up underneath the sticker, I kind of liked that it was around it without going through it, if that makes sense. So that's why I waited to um, put the stickers down and then do the circles in an ink. And so there were a couple of circles where I was playing lettering chicken, and this was a great opportunity to just move my stencil over a little bit so that it captured the word and it looked a little bit more balanced instead of squished in. So here's where I'm going to take some of the accents that I pointed out earlier, and I'm just going to stamp them over top of the circle. And you will see my head, I apologize. It's just me trying to line it up. And I feel like this takes up more of the white space and again makes it more interesting and more purposeful. Um, like the flowers, even though they're stickers, they are meant to be there, if that makes sense. I didn't like this leaf very much, but that's okay. It worked. Adding that in there. I really struggled with that white spot at the top of the page. Um, Editing me is looking at it thinking I should have put something there, but in the moment it didn't make sense to put a sticker there. So I didn't. So we'll see. Now I'm cleaning up the final pieces of my layout, which is just to go out and take out all the pencil that you could still see. And since I just stamped, you want to be very careful not to erase over your freshly stamped stuff because it will smudge and it will be very frustrating. Now we're going to go in and I'm going to take my white acrylograph paint pen and we're going to fix up that top little bit of ink over there. I normally do 2 or 3 layers of white paint and it works really, really well. And you'll see that you can't even see it at the end there. So overall, I was really happy with how this layout turned out. Like I said, that top left corner might add something more there. But yeah, this is my stress relief ideas layout. I hope you enjoyed today's video. And again, please let me know what your stress relief idea is down in the comments below, and if you will be using this layout in your own journal. Thank you so much for your time today, and I will see you in the next one. For more health and wellness journal layout ideas, make sure to check out one of these two videos.